Salutations, kings and queens, and welcome back to the Electric Leaf, where today I will be showing you all how I made these delectable, super creamy, super cheesy, stuffed seafood shells. With no seafood, of course. I love to show people how they can eat their old favorites, but with a vegan twist. That's my favorite thing to do on YouTube. So I started with king oyster mushrooms, as well as some oyster mushrooms and some jackfruit. I just cut up the king oyster mushrooms into bite-sized pieces, and then I removed the fibrous portion of the jackfruit, and then I did a rough chop on the oyster mushrooms. And this is going to be our seafood, somewhat our seafood mixture that we're going to use. And then I did a rough chop on the jackfruit as well. I just sprayed my cooking top with a little bit of grapeseed oil, and then I sprinkled the food with a generous amount actually of Old Bay. So once everything was finished cooking, I just added it to a bowl and added another generous amount of Old Bay. And you really want to do this to taste. My daughter felt like it was a little too spicy initially because I had a sauce to add. Okay, sauce, y'all know the sauce. And I added a whole bundle of green onions to the mix. You can really add whatever veggies speak to you at this point, but I like to do this. It just adds so much flavor and it adds so much color when I'm mixing, because once we get that cream in there, you ain't really gonna see nothing except just cheesiness and goodness. Okay. So now I'm going in with one of my favorite brands, which is Miyoko's mozzarella, and another generous amount of Old Bay, and I'm mixing, and then I went in with the Miyoko's cream cheese as well as the Kite Heel chive cream cheese, and I mixed all the cheeses in individually, and as you can see, it was really creamy. And so now I'm just starting with my cheese sauce, and I boiled some red potatoes, peeled the skin off, and broke them up into pieces and added them to my blender. Then I added 100% pure coconut milk, enough to cover about 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, which is going to make it taste really cheesy, 2 tablespoons each of onion powder and garlic powder, along with some cracked black pepper. Chopped in the kitchen. Yes, it is. Look at how creamy it is. So now for the fun part, where we assemble, and I am putting a generous amount. Don't put just a little bit of the stuffing in the shells, okay? That is not fun to eat. Those shells are thick and big. I boiled the shells first. I wanted to stuff them raw, but it's just, you can't put that much stuff in there. And so once I got finished stuffing all my shells, I poured the sauce that we made in the blender on top. That nutritional yeast is going to make it taste really cheesy. You don't have to put nutritional yeast if you don't want to, but it really makes it really cheesy, okay? And so now I'm adding in some marinara sauce that I found at my local grocery store. And that's it. I'm just putting it on top. And then I baked this pan in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. Now, while my shells are cooling, I'm making this Chinese spinach that I found at the Asian market. And I'm just chopping it down. Washed it, chopped it, and then I'm going to saute it with a little bit of garlic. I think I used 4 cloves of garlic, and I just minced them down, put it in a pan with a little bit of grapeseed oil, and then I just mixed in my greens, and that's it. It was very simple. I waited until my shelves were cooling to do this so that I would have a distraction, okay, from digging in, because you want to. As soon as you pull them out the oven, you're like, I want to taste. I want to know what it tastes like. But it's best to wait, because the sauce, it won't tighten, and then you won't be able to enjoy the creaminess, the depth of flavor and texture, like you could if you would just wait. And also, when I first started to plate or assemble my shells, I had a thin layer of coconut milk at the bottom. Now you can use the sauce that we created, but I wanted to hold some of my sauce to the side so that I could have it for reheating, because the thing about reheating is the pasta tends to absorb the sauce and get dry. Yeah, look at this. The pictures really don't do it justice, honestly. The pictures don't do it justice. I mean, it was bubbling in there, and it had the whole house smelling good, okay? My daughter, I made this pan yesterday, okay? And it's already over halfway gone. This is a good, dish to make for your kids if they're into pasta. Shoot, this is a good dish to make for anybody. The whole family will love this, especially if you're used to eating pasta, seafood pasta, and you feel like you're not going to be able to live without your seafood a couple of nights out of the week. But try something like this. Like I always tell my clients, you do not have to give up your whole lifestyle. Just make trades every now and then. Okay, make trades. Swap this for that. And as time goes on, you will find that you are eating way more vegetables than you've ever eaten in your life. And that's really the goal. That's why I show people how to cook vegan. I mean, you already know how to go get you some $20 can of crab meat. You already know how to go get you some $20 scallops and shrimp, But maybe you might not have known about these ingredients. And so that's why I want to introduce them to you all. So if you try this, let a sister know. And yes, such a good meal. So until next time, family, continue to vibrate love and vibrate well. Peace.